Aries 2020 horoscope. Welcome, dear friends. This is an astrology prediction for people who have sun or ascendant sign in Aries. We have so many events during 2020, some drastic changes, transformations, exact aspects, and that's what we are gonna prepare for in this video. Jupiter and Saturn are both changing signs. They are both gonna join together and have a conjunction. We have this interesting but also specific conjunctions between Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn and Pluto. The nodes are changing signs. On top of that, Venus and Mars are both gonna be retrograde, which, as we know, does not happen each year. So stay tuned and prepare for 2020. Also, the 2020 astrology calendar is available. If you are interested, you will find the link below the video and you can get a copy for yourself and learn this interesting and detailed information on a daily basis. Now, let's begin with the positive things, with the area where you can expand, the area where you can grow. Of course, you guessed, I'm talking about Jupiter. Jupiter, which in 2020 until the middle of December will be in Capricorn in your 10th house. So obviously that's the area where we expect you to grow and to succeed. This is a time to start a new business, great time for startups, but also you might be working for another person and still be successful, be promoted, or have more responsibilities, or be more appreciated in terms of your career. So you will see that there are many things triggering your 10th house during 2020. So it's for sure gonna be one of the most important areas of your life: career, business, social reputation. And Jupiter brings you the opportunity to succeed and to expand and to grow. But at the same time, Jupiter is not alone there. The transit Saturn is also in your 10th house part of the year, not all of it. So from January until March, and then from July until the middle of December. During those periods, Saturn is in Capricorn together with Jupiter, and they're kind of chasing each other. So what can we expect here? First of all, Saturn can bring you more responsibilities, more work, more stability, and you can be successful with Saturn, but only if you work hard. If you're consistent, if you are focused, if you are devoted, if you really deserve, Saturn will reward you. And with Jupiter there, things might be even more successful for you. But again, as I said, the hard work is extremely important. Keep in mind that Saturn in Capricorn is much stronger than Jupiter. So the hard work needs to be more than the expected luck or the opportunities. It doesn't mean there won't be any, but you should not rely only on that. You should always work hard for your career, for your business. And after that, Saturn is moving to Aquarius into your 11th house, basically from March until June and after the middle of December. Saturn is in Aquarius in your 11th house. So you need to be more cautious, you need to be more grounded, more practical when it comes to things you idealize, your future vision, your friendships, your community. It's time to cut off things and people that are not reliable, that are not really deserving your attention, your time. And you need to be realistic. Sometimes Saturn kind of pulls us back on the earth, requires from us to be very grounded. So you may have some lessons to learn that Saturn can bring to you, specifically related to your 10th and 11th house. So career and communities, friendships, and future vision. At the same time, we also have other things triggering your 10th house, and the first one is the conjunction between Saturn and Pluto in 10th house in Capricorn, basically happening only once this year on the 12th of January. So I can say that the whole January can be very important for you guys. And Saturn and Pluto joining together in your 10th house, that's something very rare. So the last time that Saturn and Pluto were in conjunction was around 1983, 82. So very, very rare aspect. Time to transform some structures, time to transform and change the rules, time to rebuild something. Yes, it could destroy something that doesn't work, something you no longer need, but then as the phoenix, you might rebirth something, or something new might be born out of the changes. So very transformative, a very important combination that triggers your career and work. Sometimes there could be changes, transformation. Sometimes it's not that easy, but eventually this transformational aspect requires from you to redefine the rules, to find some new principles and rules related to your career and business. Another aspect which triggers 10th house as well is the conjunction that Jupiter will have with Pluto in Capricorn. This is an aspect which will happen 3 times in April, June, and November 2020. Time to expand, time to grow, and here we can talk about big scales. Pluto together with Jupiter can bring you incredible expansion and transformation. So it is a wonderful time for your career and business. So pay attention, guys. Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, all together in your 10th house. So transformation, expansion, structure, rebuilding, organizing, and these are basically some of the really important tasks for you, specifically in regards to career and business for 2020. Jupiter and Saturn are also gonna have a conjunction in Aquarius in your 11th house on the 21st of December, basically the very end of the year. And this is a time when you can focus on new future projects, something related to your ideals as an expansion. But here you need to combine the optimism, the positivity of Jupiter, and at the same time, the realistic approach and the practical view of Saturn. And by the way, this is generally a topic through the whole year, to find the balance and to combine the optimism and the realism. And 11th house is the area where you can make those changes. So friends, the future vision, the future projects, communities, groups of people, that's kind of the main things for you. The other significant shift is related to the nodes. The nodes are also changing signs. So the first half of the year, basically until May, the North Node is in Cancer in your 4th house, and the South Node in Capricorn in your 10th house. So you can grow also, you can expand in regards to family stuff, to properties, to personal things that you have. And at the same time, with the South Node in your 10th house, you need to let go of things that don't work in regards to your business, career, and public activities, public projects. And this changes, guys, after the 5th of May, because after that, the North Node will be in Gemini in your 3rd house, and the South Node will be in Sagittarius in your 9th house. So the opportunity to grow is related to more practical things. North Node in 3rd house will require from you to be more present, not to focus so much on the future, on, constantly dreaming and planning something long term. That's not the right solution for you. You need to be more concentrated and more precise. You need to pay attention more to the analytical way of thinking, not so much the philosophy, the abstract ideas. That's not your game during 2020. You need to be practical, you need to be grounded. It can be a great time also for learning, even for traveling, for moving as well, and for focusing more on your social circle, new friends, new people in your life. That these are some of the major topics that the nodes can trigger for you. And speaking about the nodes, of course, we need to mention the eclipses. We have 6 of them during 2020. Starting with the first one on January the 10th, lunar eclipse in your 4th house, some possible changes in regards to home, family, your personal space, the environment right next to you, changes, but also materializations in those areas. The next lunar eclipses are actually 2 in a row with one solar eclipse in between, June and July. The 5th of June, there is a lunar eclipse triggering your 9th, but also 3rd house. So time to change something about your goals, time to change something about your long-term plans, maybe about education, maybe about some kind of perspective that you have about the future, or some kind of belief that you have. Then the solar eclipse during June triggers your 4th house. So time to focus on family and home stuff and property. So important changes might happen here in this area. And then the last summer eclipse is on the 5th of July, triggering your 10th house. So transformations and materialization in regards to your career and business. And the last couple of eclipses are November, December. The first one is a lunar eclipse triggering your 3rd house, the end of November. So changes in regards to your social circle, to your way of thinking, the people right next to you, and at the same time, your daily presence, your daily tasks and projects. The last eclipse for the year is on the 14th of December, which is basically very close to the conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. So it looks like December will be a very important month for all of us. And for you guys, it triggers your 9th house, the eclipse specifically. So focus on the goals, focus on your belief system, something that you can start in regards to those areas, something that you need to transform, very intense changes. So pay attention, 3rd, 4th, and 9th and 10th house. Those are the houses triggered by the eclipses for you, Aries, during 2020. Next, we are moving to another important event. Venus will be retrograde, guys. Are you ready? Basically, Venus is retrograde only once in 18 months. So during 2019, we didn't have Venus or Mars being retrograde, but 2020 is different. So from the 12th of May until the 24th of June, Venus retrograde in Gemini, all of the time between the 22nd and the 5th degree of Gemini. In your chart, it will trigger 3rd house. So during this period, you need to be very cautious, reconsider, rebuild some of your contacts with other people, like friends, like plans for traveling might be changed. And basically, you need to find the harmony in 3rd house. It may not be that easy. And also, all things might come into your life, like old friendships, people that you used to communicate might call you. So siblings also might be a kind of an important topic. Like for a month and a half, 3rd house is also really, really accentuated. And Venus will basically be joining the North Node in 3rd house. So it is a big one for you. The next one is actually even more important. The next transit we need to discuss is the Mars retrograde period. Once in 2 years, this time from the 9th of September until the 12th of November. And the most important part is that it's retrograde in Aries, guys, from the 28th until the 15th degree in Aries. Of course, that's your first house. If your sun or ascendant sign is somewhere between those degrees, it will be huge. Basically, it means if you are born in the second half of the Aries period, basically, if you are from the April Aries sun signs, then Mars retrograde basically will move through your sun sign. Mars, on top of that, is the ruler of Aries. So this will be one of the most important periods for you. Is it gonna be easy? Probably not. So probably you will have to change something about your own perspective, about your own actions and reactions, maybe to slow down a little bit, to avoid taking new risks, to avoid starting brand new, really important personal stuff, and overall to reassess your own life, your own values, your own goals, basically everything which concerns you. So September until November, Mars will really, really change things for you. Next, we have Mercury. Mercury is retrograde 3 or 4 times each year, so it's not that transformational. Of course, it would be nice to prepare. And here, basically, you can see the 3 retrograde cycles of Mercury. February, March, in your 12th and 11th house, you need to be more cautious with the past stuff, with friendships, with your own privacy. Then June, July, retrograde in 4th house, so family, home, property issues you need to be more careful with. And then finally, October, November, your 8th and 7th house are triggered. So mutual finances and resources and relationships and partnerships. As we know, Mercury retrograde is not the end of the world. We should not, stop living while Mercury is retrograde, but it's always nice to be prepared and to avoid planning some really important things during those 3-week periods, especially in regards to the houses that are triggered in our chart. Restarting old things, old projects, old relationships, that's great. And now we are moving to the outer planets. So starting with Uranus, during 2020, Uranus is in Taurus between the 3rd and the 11th degree, triggering your 2nd house. This would be a very important transit for you if the cusp of your 2nd house is somewhere between those degrees. Uranus in 2nd house can bring changes in regards to finances, more dynamic there, more instability, some kind of shifts, but overall also more excitement, new approaches, new ways of earning money and basically your resources. Then we have Neptune, which will be in Pisces from the 16th until the 21st degree in your 12th house. So this would be an important transit if the cusp of your 12th house is somewhere here between those degrees. Neptune in 12th house can increase your intuition, can help you to reconnect, to heal the past, to focus more on your dreams. For spiritual work, this can also be great. But overall, this is not a transformational transit for you guys, for you Aries. And finally, the biggest player, we have Pluto in Capricorn between the 22nd and the 25th degree in your 10th house. Of course, we already talked about Jupiter together with Pluto, Saturn together with Pluto, and these are the important degrees. So if your 10th house is somewhere between those degrees, that's a big one. That's a huge transformation. That's time to start new things or transform new things. This can be time when also things may not depend completely on you. Pluto is an outer, it's a collective planet. And this is a very important transit if you are born between the 11th and the 18th of April, because in this case, Pluto will square your sun sign. Or if your ascendant is somewhere around those degrees, also a big one. So in this case, we're talking about personal transformation, things which don't depend completely on you, but at the same time, it's time to heal the past. It's time to let go of some subconscious models, some psychological issues, and so on. So that's the most important, guys. So to sum up everything, really the most important during 2020 is the focus on your career. 10th house, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto are there. The south node part of the year. The eclipses also triggering your career and family area, but also your way of thinking, the goals that you have, and the need to be present and focused and practical about things you want. Venus retrograde also triggers your 3rd house, so you need to be more careful. Mars retrograde in your 1st, another big one. So the year is exciting. The year can be very transformative, and what you are doing can be visible for other people, may have a long-term impact and opportunity to expand in the future. If you guys want to have this presentation, it's available for you. All you have to do is just type your email in the comments below the video, and I will send you the presentation so you can always catch up on it. Thank you very much, Aries. It was a pleasure for me. I wish you all a great, amazing, successful, and exciting 2020. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited for? What is something that you really cannot wait for? And let's prepare together. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.